Chapter 8. Captain of the World. They pitched a tent on the far side of one of the islands, but the natives wouldn't leave 'em be. By the third morning there was a great mob hanging about the camp, and Jesus began to fret over 'em. "What'll we do for this lot?" he said to the crew. "If we send 'em off without sustenance, they'll drop along the way." Well, his lads was always a bit slow, so they scratched their heads and shook 'em. "Don't know, Captain. There's no place to buy bread for 'em all." "Well, just out of interest," he said to 'em, "how many loaves do you have yourselves?" "7, they told him, "and a couple of fish." Said he. "Well, let's get the folks sitting down and see what we can do, eh?" When they'd done that, Jesus gave thanks for the food and parceled it out among the crew to give to the crowd. And somehow there was enough for 'em all. Nay, more'n enough. The lads ended up gathering 7 baskets of leavings off the sand, which was pretty fine since there'd been about 4,000 souls present. Jesus sent 'em all off and returned to the ship with his boys to set sail for home territory. They pitched up at a little place called Dalmanutha, and straight away they were met by a delegation of the religious mob. "Show us a miracle if you want us to receive you, Captain," they said as they stood on the jetty. Well, the captain just shook his head. More proof, eh? I reckon there's been more than enough evidence for you already. Come on, lads, let's get back to the ship." So back they went. As they was trimming the sails, Jesus called out to 'em all from the wheel. "Steer clear of folks like that, lads. They're like weevils in your flour." Now the crew was in a fog about this, but they'd been planning to buy stores at the town, so they thought he was talking about food. "It's 'cause we forgot to get the bread," they were saying to each other with a nod and a wink. "Aye, bread. And weevils." He kept on like this for some time until the captain fetched out his pistol and fired it over their heads. "What are you jabbering about bread for?" he thundered at them. "Are you daft? Did you leave your wits shoreside? Tell me, you faithless swabs, how many baskets did you gather after I broke the 5 loaves for that crowd of 5,000? 12, Captain," they said. "And how many did you pick up after the 4,000 in the islands?" 7, Captain," they answered. "Do you think I'd be stewing over victuals? Use your brains." Back they sailed to the port at Bethsaida, and there some folks came rowing out to meet the captain, bringing a mate of theirs who was blind. Jesus brought him into his cabin, spat in his eyes, and laid his hands on him. "Right," he said as he led him back to the main deck. "What do you see now, mate?" "I see men walking about," said he, "but they kind of look like trees." "Off-seeing, eh?" said Jesus, raising his voice so the crew could hear. "I know some other coves like that." Again he put his hands on the man's eyes, and he was as right as rain. "Straight home now with the tide, boyo. Keep clear of the village." Soon Jesus and his crew was on the move again, holding course for Caesarea Philippi. As they went, he asked him a few questions about his own self. "Who do these landlubbers say I be, mates?" "Some say you be John the Baptizer," they said. "Others that you be Elijah, or some prophet of the Almighty." "Ah," he said, nodding his head. "Now what about yourselves? Who do you think I be?" Up piped Peter. "Ye be the captain of the world, the man sent by the Almighty. That's who ye be, captain." "Aye, lad," said Jesus. "But you best be keeping mum about that for now." "There's rough seas ahead, mates," he said, turning to the rest of them. "Before long there'll be a certain captain dancing on a gibbet at the pleasure of the fancy folk. Aye, they'll string him up, and they'll lay him low. But mark my words, lads, he'll be back. Back after 3 days. But Peter weren't having that. "Nay, Captain," said he, "this ain't a fitting end for the likes of you." "Button that hatch," roared Jesus. "That's the devil's talk. All glory and no cost. Quit chasing the fool's gold of man and get yourself after the treasure of the Almighty." He gathered the officers and all them that was serving afore the mast. "Looky here," he said. "Do you want to sail under my flag? Do you want to stay in my crew? If you do, you're headed for the gallows. Get that into your skulls. That's the way of me and my gang. So join me if you will, and get ready to be shark bait. Else, go home and waste your life living high and dry. That be the way of things, mates. Find your life by living rough with me, or lose it in your soft, warm cots. Either way, you'll get to explain your decision to the Almighty and his man." Then he stopped and looked round at him. "Am I making it sound like sour times, lads? I tell you, some of you'll see the kingdom coming with power within your lifetime."